Hello, everyone, and welcome into Week 11 of the Ken Sparks Show. It is playoff time at Mossy Creek as Carson-Newman grabs a 65-32 victory over arch-rival Tusculum to earn a playoff spot for the third time in 4 seasons. Carson-Newman gets the win over TC, 65-32, a record-setting day for the Eagles offensively. Carson-Newman rushes for the 5th most yards in a single game in history, tied for 5th actually, with 570 yards on the ground. The Eagles roll up 60 points and 600 yards of total offense for the 3rd time this season. A solid day at the office for DeAndre Thomas. He's the first Carson-Newman quarterback with a 200-yard rushing performance since Alex Good in 2008. Damian Baker, not too shabby either, 197 yards for the senior candidate for the Harlan Hill Trophy. We're doing things a little bit differently today on the Ken Sparks Show. No Ken Sparks. He's off in North Carolina meeting with the rest of the league's coaches. Instead, we'll chat with the coordinators today. It's the Mike and Mike Show, essentially. Mike Turner and Mike Clowney, Carson-Newman's offensive and defensive coordinator, will swing by the show a little bit later on. But first, we're going to start off with highlights, and we'll let you take a look at how Carson-Newman clinched itself a spot in the playoffs the 25th time in head coach Ken Sparks' career with a 65-32 win over the Tusculum Pioneers. Here are the highlights from that victory. Nance to snap, go forth to hold. Snaps back, hold is down, Wise kick. Sidewinding its way through the uprights, it's true. So Carson Wise puts Carson-Newman on the board with a 25-yard field goal. Eagles with a 3-0 lead with 12:15 left. Pioneers run quick. Lancaster takes. He'll hand off up the middle to Jackson, and Jackson bursts into the end zone. Touchdown, Tusculum. Pioneers leap in front, 6-3 on the 4-yard run up the middle by Jackson. And it's 6-3 Tusculum, 4:43 left in the first quarter. Play Thomas under center. Now he pauses as Tusculum is gearing for a quarterback sneak. Thomas takes. Here is the quarterback sneak. Thomas a good push, and he's in. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. DeAndre Thomas, career rushing touchdown, number 41. He's in sole possession of 4th on the all-time list, and he's given Carson-Newman a 9-7 lead. 39-yard ramble for Damian Baker. That's 1st and 10 Eagles from the Pioneer 12. Thomas under center, split backs. Thomas takes, option to the left. Thomas will keep it. The C parts, and Thomas will sprint for 6. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. DeAndre Thomas, option keeper around the left side of the line. The C opened up for him, and Thomas, a 17-yard score, has the Eagles in front, 16-7 with 14:10 left in the second quarter. So Wise for a potential career-long 42-yarder. Snaps back, hold is down. Wise the kick, line drive, and Wise hits it. A career-long 42-yard field goal before the half lets out. Puts Carson-Newman on top by a touchdown as the teams head to the locker rooms. Eagles 23, Pioneers 16. Carson-Newman will try to counter and retake the lead with Baker and Wimbush as the split backs. Thomas takes. It's a pitch to the right side. Baker with loads of running room. 40, 45, dashing along the right sideline. Baker with the wheels. 20, 15, 10. Baker makes the house call. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. A career-long 75-yard run for Damian Baker. And Carson-Newman cocks back and throws a haymaker. Eagles lead at 29-25. 2 for Tusculum. Lancaster in the gun, takes the snap, hands off to Jackson, works his way to the left side of the line, and piles in. Touchdown, Tusculum. Jackson, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the day, gets in around the left side of the line, and just like that, the Pioneers are back in front. 1st and 10 Eagles from the left hash at the Pioneer 18. Thomas takes, runs the option to the right side. Thomas will pitch late to Wimbush. Wimbush with the seam to the 5. He leaps for the pylon. He's in! Touchdown, Carson-Newman! Antonio Wimbush with his first score of the day and his 8th of the season. The freshman piles in and puts Carson-Newman back on top. 36-32 with 3:46 left in the third quarter. 1st and 10 Pioneers from the left hash at their own 26-yard line. Lancaster in the gun. 3 wide set. Due to the wide side right, a lone man funny to the short side left. Snap back. Lancaster to give right side to Jackson. He's met by Stupart at the line of scrimmage, and he'll lose a yard. Stupart wrenches him down, -1. Back to the 25-yard line. Eagles running quickly. To give. Left side on a trap, Antonio Wimbush, and Wimbush is in. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Damian Baker through the key block. Antonio Wimbush spurts into the end zone, and Carson-Newman has hung half 100 on the Pioneers. 50-32, Eagles in front with 12:03 left in the fourth quarter. Under center split backs, takes, dive for Wimbush. Wimbush gets in. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Antonio Wimbush on the dive right of center collects his third rushing touchdown of the day. And the Eagles pouring it on, 57-32. Carson-Newman leads with 9:50 left in the fourth quarter. All right, so everything's sorted out. 9:50 left in the fourth. I could read the clock. I just couldn't believe there were 95 minutes left. So 9:50 to play. Lancaster hitting the backfield. Cook Calhoun comes through. He'll sack him back to the 19. At long last, the Eagles defense comes through with a sack on one of the
Eagles, one of the rare negative plays in the second half.
Second down and 18 to go. The Eagles go dive right up the middle for Montavious Taylor. Taylor, see you later. Down the left hash marks he goes. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Montavious Taylor rolls into the end zone on a 35-yard run. Welcome back on the Ken Sparks Show as Carson-Newman collects itself a 65-32 win over the Tusculum Pioneers. Ken Sparks Show, probably more aptly named the Mike and Mike Show this week as we chat with offensive coordinator Mike Turner later on in the program, defensive coordinator Mike Clowney. Mike Turner, not too shabby day at the office this week against the Pioneers. Third time you roll up 600 yards of total offense. Third time this season you score 60 points. What's been the key for the offense this season?
I think the last 6 weeks have been very critical for us. I think the kids have bought into the one step at a time deal to get themselves back out of the graveyard and bring back life to them, and they've done that, and they've responded well to that. Been a great victory as far as togetherness, as far as a team-wise. I think Saturday, we did what we did well. We just struggled there trying to get in the end zone in the first half, and we kicked some field goals, and that's not good enough against somebody who can score points like Tusculum. We know that. So, but I was very proud of how hard the kids played, and that's what they've done the last few weeks. They've played hard. Still make mistakes and going to make mistakes. We're trying to get those as few as we can, but as long as they play hard, they have a good time and enjoy being together, that's what makes football a special game.
It feels like the effort has been there for the offense all season long. There have been patches where the execution might be there, but the effort has always been superb, it feels like. Is that your assessment too, or have there been dips and valleys there?
I don't think there's been too many valleys. I think the effort's been great. Sometimes, you're still trying to work on technique and fundamentals, and I guess if you ever just thought I'm there on that one, you'd probably lose a bunch in a row. So, we have to stay after them every week about making sure the right technique, the right fundamental, and football's a simple game as long as we'll leave it that way.
Yeah.
So that's been the biggest battle, and execution. That's what offensive football is about. It's how you execute. It's not what you do. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat, but the way you better do it is do it the right way, and that's the Eagle way, and execute it the right way, and we have a chance to be successful.
The second half certainly executed at a very high level. 5 straight drives where you punch it in the end zone. It felt like the floodgates opened a little bit on Damian Baker's 75-yard run when he took an option pitch around the right side of the line. What happened on that play, and what happened in the second half that opened up the floodgates a little bit?
What happened there with his run is what we were trying to do the whole time in the first half. One of those kids on the sideline said, "Coach, that's what you were talking about." Yeah, I said, we're drawing it up on the board 50 times already. So, but yeah, great execution. Man, just what a tremendous effort down the field by Stephen Iceman.
Yeah.
You can get kids to block, but to sustain a block 50 and 60 yards past the line of scrimmage is just phenomenal. And I went over and shook his hand. I said, "That's big time, baby. That ain't great. That's just big time." And then Damon, you get him in open space and we're very blessed to have the backs we got, because if you can get them in open space you got a chance to have a big play made.
How fun is it for you to see the progression of a young kid in Antonio Wimbush, who's come on and first freshman running back since Tyron Douglas with multiple 3-touchdown days in a freshman season?
Well, it's been great. You know, and you saw that out of him in camp this summer. And, you know, all freshmen, we always talk about, you can tell how they are because their eyes are like big softballs inside their helmet. And he's come along as the season progressed and become more and more confident in what he's doing. It really does feel comfortable. You can tell that by the way he rips when the ball is snapped. And that's what this offense is about. So been very happy with him and the other running backs, and our 2 quarterbacks have just been fun to be around. Their leadership has been very, very critical to us. So another group that, you know, we started this run of those 6 steps. We did some things on offense where we just had to call on those receivers to do some things that aren't natural as receivers. And they have responded well for the most part. And I want to brag on them again for what they're doing and their effort. We talk about a lot of times you got to give yourself up for the betterment of what everybody, you know, for the rest of the football team. And they've been pretty good examples of giving themselves up for the most part to make our team successful.
As always, when we have you on, it's a special opportunity to talk about a group that clears the way for everybody. The Road Raiders, the offensive line. Again, and I think it's 8 straight seasons now where the offensive line has cleared the way for a team that'll finish in the top 5 in the country in rushing yards. Will rush for 300 yards nearly every time you go out. What about the job of Derek Evans and company up front?
Well, Derek has been a very, very pleasant. Not a surprise because that's what we thought he ought to have been doing all along. Not a surprise at all. Had great expectations for Derek. Derek has been one of those guys that's come out and answered the bell and been the leader. And he's played nicked up and hurt all season. He's got a nose that's been broke about 5 times. And I've told him that when the season's over, we'll call the doctor from L.A. and we'll fly him out here and get him the right plastic surgeon. But Derek has really done a great job for us. And you know, those guys are. It's another unit at Carson-Newman that you like to see because they like to be with each other. They enjoy being with each other. And when the kids do that together as a unit, you know, you got a chance to have something good happen.
Mike, pleasure as always. Congratulations on a victory and another 600-yard day of total offense against the Tusculum Pioneers.
Adam, thank you. It's always a pleasure, my man.
It's Carson-Newman offensive coordinator Mike Turner. When we come back on the Ken Sparks Show, we'll talk with the other Mike, the defensive coordinator, Mike Clowney. That's after this. Back on the Ken Sparks Show as Carson-Newman rounds out the regular season with a 65-32 triumph over arch rival Tusculum Pioneers. The Pioneers stay winless in Jefferson City for an 81st consecutive year. I'm Adam Cavalier alongside Carson-Newman defensive coordinator Mike Clowney. Mike and Mike show continue. Thanks so much for filling in for Ken Sparks on the week before the playoffs start, as is typical of our custom. Solid defensive performance in the second half against the Pioneers. They go 3 and out 4 times, turn it over on downs twice. What did it take to ratchet up the defensive pressure against Tusculum?
You know, for whatever reason, we just had a slow time getting started. You know, guys come out and you would think that game that, you know, you would be motivated and ready to go. But we come in at halftime, talk to them about a couple little things that we need to adjust. A lot of it was effort and just kind of getting them in the right positions. You know, we tweaked a couple things scheme-wise, but overall, you know, the big thing in the second half, I think, was the Baker touchdown. The Baker touchdown, you know, kind of got everybody energized and back in the game, and we were able to go out and get a couple stops to put us back in it.
Was there a key moment among those stops, back-to-back 3 and outs, after you go up 32, or you fall behind 32 to 28 at one point, but back-to-back stops after that? Was there a moment in there that you kind of sensed that things were turning?
You know, one of the big things that we challenged our guys on this week, we went and looked at our national stats on third down. We talked to our guys about, you know, winning third down. And I debated all week, do you share this with them? Do you just try to go out and coach the game? And, you know, we didn't say anything about it, but once we got to the point where we struggled on some third downs, they were converting, and we talked to them right there, you know, actually during the Baker touchdown about, you know, where we are nationally on third down. And we talked to them about getting better on third down, and we're able to go out and get that first 3 and out, and then the second 3 and out, and the third 3 and out, and kind of climb ourselves into a position to where we actually met our, you know, third down goal this week.
This was a young defense at the start of the season and steadily but surely progressed. How do you assess where the group is now compared to where it was when wringing hands almost back in the middle of August.
I mean, we've gotten into this tradition of starting over for whatever reason. But like this year, man, we've got a great group of guys, and they've worked hard, and that's what we talked to them about, before we watched the selection show today, is just kind of growing together, and to where the older guys did a great job of kind of bringing the young guys in and putting them under their wings, trying to help them, teach them, moving them along. And just the biggest thing I think for these guys all year has been their effort. They hadn't always done everything right, but they've given us the best effort they can give us each week.
Is that what's been your favorite part about this season?
It is. When you go and you look at the video, it's easy to get frustrated as a coach because, he should be here and he should be there. But when you go in and you look at the effort, and it's just wow. I mean, these guys are really giving you everything they got. So their heart's in the right place and they're trying to do the right thing.
We've kind of touched on it with Ken throughout the season. I'm presuming, and I shouldn't presume, but Justin Long, is he the biggest surprise of this season, or do you go elsewhere?
It's really different because Justin's a guy, like even some last year, we had a lot of talk about Justin, and so you just kind of back and forth, is he really like the real deal or not? And I think, the good thing for Justin this year is he was able to come out and say, yes, I am.
Turn your attention now to the playoffs. Seems hard to fathom. A few weeks ago when you were 3-2 after a loss to Lenore-Rhine, head to Valdosta State, a team that knocked you out of the 2012 playoffs. What's the mentality like for this team playing another week and essentially a new season now?
And I think that is the mentality of this team. We talked to them about, we've basically been in the playoffs since the Lenore-Rhine game, and we talked to them about taking it one day at a time, one play at a time, one step at a time, and then just kind of seeing how it turns out. And I think they bought into that, and that's the reason that they're here now. Hopefully they'll kind of keep that mentality throughout the playoffs.
Is there anything that sticks out to you about the last time you played Valdosta back in 2012?
We were talking about a second ago, going into halftime and was able to get a stop and had a lead, and to come back and blow that lead and actually wound up letting us stretch the score out, more than we felt like it should have been. But none of these kids remember that. We were trying to figure out if any of these kids were even on that team.
I think DeAndre Thomas is the only one that really.
He may, but him and Trayshawn.
Yeah, him and Trayshawn Ward. Stephen Isom,
yeah,
I think would have been defensively. I can't think of a soul.
I don't know if we had a guy that was there.
I'd have to go diving deep through the archives for that. Mike, pleasure as always. Congratulations on a staunch second half against the Pioneers, and congrats on making the playoffs third time in 4 years.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
That is defensive coordinator Mike Clowney. When we come back on the Ken Sparks Show, we'll break down the Eagles selection show watch party. That's when we come back after this. Welcome back on the Ken Sparks Show. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier. Carson-Newman is playoff bound for the 25th time under Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks, 26th time overall for the program as a whole, going back to that 1972 appearance in the Champions Bowl under Dal Sheely. Carson-Newman found out who its opponent would be. That's Valdosta State on Sunday night. And we take a look at how the Eagles found out, gathering in the team meeting room in the Ken Sparks Athletic Complex for a watch party.
Killing the old, coming up out of the water, coming up new. All things are passed away.
I think we just keep the same mentality. We've had the same mentality over the past 6 weeks, just taking every game by its stride and not trying to look at our vision too far in the future. Just keep taking one game at a time.
Good evening and welcome to the Division II Football Selection Show. Last year, 7 years after starting a football program, Colorado State Pueblo shut out Minnesota State Mankato.
It meant everything because when we lost LR, everybody counted us out. But we knew if we kept faith that we was going to be in, and we just kept faith and just kept pushing, moving forward. I think it just means that everybody on the team just bought in to what Coach Sparks has been telling us. Once everybody buys in and everybody gives up of themselves for the better sake of the team, then great things can happen. So I think that's what happened.
All the way to the semifinals a year ago, losing a narrow 10-7 game to the eventual champions. West Georgia entered this year.
It's been amazing. It really has. I know when we lost LR, a lot of people were feeling down about it, and a lot of people had us count out in the conference, but we've just worked every week to slowly get better and fight to where we are today.
Matchup hosted by Valdosta State, the owners of 3 national titles, including most recent in 2012. The Blazers are back for 14th year and second straight, and they welcome Carson-Newman.
My reaction is I'm happy because we get to play offense that's, that spread, they throw the ball around, and I just like playing that offense, and I think we've been playing offense like that for the past couple of weeks, so I think we'll be ready.
We refuse to lose a lot of times. We've had a lot of close games, a lot of games where it came a little too close for comfort, but we got it out there and we went overtime with Wingate and we just kept fighting. So
everybody has a bad taste in their mouth from the guys that played in 2012. So I just talked to Dre just before this, and he just winked at me, gave me a little wink, and told him, "Let's go. It's time to get it." So yeah, we just trying to get the bad taste out of our mouth and just trying to get this W.
Well, you always know they were a good team. I mean, I heard from guys like Alex Taylor when he was here playing them, and they were a good team. But I know when we went down there, we shocked them a little bit. We were up them at halftime, and I think they're a good team. They're going to be a good team, obviously in the playoffs, and we just got to treat them like the same thing as any team and just keep playing.
And so the Eagles are playoff bound. Carson-Newman will head to Valdosta State November 21st for a meeting with the Valdosta State Blazers. The Eagles and Blazers last met in the playoffs in 2012, and Valdosta State came away with a 46-28 win over Carson-Newman on that day. It's the 7th meeting all-time between the schools. 6 of those meetings have come in playoff competition. It's the 3rd time the teams will meet in the first round. They are 1-1 in such situations. This has been the Ken Sparks Show for Carson-Newman offensive coordinator Mike Turner, as well as defensive coordinator Mike Clowney. I'm the voice of the Eagles saying thanks for watching. For ticket information, game times, and broadcast information for Carson-Newman's first-round playoff game at Valdosta State, please check cneagles.com. Once again, thanks for watching. This has been the Ken Sparks Show.